Right now we're at Fairfield County, right outside of Columbus, man, on the Empowerment Workshop Tour. Myself, Cardell Sims, Brandon Lasses, man, all formerly incarcerated individuals going in, knock this workshop out. Entrepreneurship, resume building, vision boarding, and a whole lot of resources for the men that's incarcerated. You know, this is something that's never really been done before on the tour going throughout the country, man. You about to lay it down. And so, documentary coming soon. Peace.
How many of y'all got a vision for yourself when you get out? Vision, put your hands up. You got a vision. What you know you're gonna do when you get out?
I said, well, I'm gonna get back to what I know. I'm going to treat my incarceration like I'm in school. And that's exactly what I did.
I took the franchise from 1.4 million to 2.6 million in 18 months. They put me on news, I made Black Enterprise, I made Success Magazine, I made Entrepreneur.
That's telling me that I gotta change people I'm dealing with. Whether it's wife, family, kids, whatever.
If you go to jail and you're incarcerated for doing something wrong, and they take you away from the community for so long, and then split you right back into it. If you're out there without any type of social skills or survival tactics, how are you gonna be expected to succeed? Well, out of all my time of being incarcerated, I've never had this experience. I've never had other guys that was incarcerated that has become entrepreneurs, role models. I've never ran into you guys. Hope. I would describe this workshop that's going on with you guys as hope.
The reentry workshop today, I think it was really good. Everybody was so captivated by what was going on. I probably could have told the CEOs, like, you know, go have a seat.
The reentry tour that we just did was phenomenal. All it takes is that spark. That is our jobs as leaders and speakers, is to empower them. And that sparking that is going to make them want to change, you know? So that's the best opportunity. You guys did phenomenal. You're interactive, you are real with them. And I think that we need more people like you doing that, because that's the only way for them to relate.
Reentry journey. What would be one word to describe this journey?
Heartache.
Enriching.
Gratitude.
Unapologeticness. Hope.
Elevating. Passion.
Resilience.
I say transformation.
Determination.
Intention.
My word is compassion. Rebirth.
Intentional.
It's bigger than just walking down your probation and parole. It's changing your mindset, lifestyle, and never returning to prison again. It's the reentry journey with Cardell Sims.
All right, man. We are back with another episode of the Reentry Journey. I am your host, Cardell Sims. And before we get started to go into this journey and did this episode, I want to give a shout out and let you know that this episode is brought to you by I'm So. Inspire, motivate, and support others. Shout out to DJ David Walker and the I'm So team over there. Keep making the brand, keep pushing the brand that represents. Remember, I'm So. Inspire, motivate, and support others.
I'm So is an acronym for inspire, motivate, and support others. Also, I'm So in the dictionary or English terms is to a great extent, beyond normal. And I took that and spun it in a positive way to make it to where everything you do is extra. Everything you do is above average. It's going hard, is striving to be the very best version of yourself.
All right, man, we back with another episode of the Reentry Journey. And this ain't a different episode. This ain't you can't wipe it off and know you saying, oh, I think I might have seen this episode before. No, you haven't. This is a brand new episode. It's just that our guest is back. That's right. Our guest, Mr. Quenten Sims, is back for the second time to share his progress, to share some of the new things that he's working on, and to share his story and his journey, just in case you might not have caught the first episode. And if you didn't catch the first episode, we were just sitting here thinking that we think it's episode 39. So go on back, catch episode 39. If it ain't 39, it's 40 or 38, one of them. But you check out the episode because it's a great episode, and to see how far this brothers came along since the 2 years that we had the first episode is amazing. So just to give you a little background about our guest today on the reentry journey, Mr. Quenten Sims spent 27 years incarcerated, serving time in prison on 3 separate times before finally getting it right. You know, sometimes it takes like that. It took me 3, 4 trips, 4, 5 trips to get in. You know, that's just how it is. But despite the challenge of the prison system, he has emerged with a positive attitude and determination to turn his life around. Over the last couple of years, he's dedicated his life to helping others and his advocacy work and his volunteer work. You know, he's joining me today to share his incredible journey of redemption and his new book. That's right, his new book. And so without any further ado, welcome back to the reentry journey, Mr. Quenten Sims.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, brother. I appreciate that.
Oh man, it's no thing, man. I just want to say thank you for coming back, being the guest again, sharing your journey from where you was at the last time I had you on, and to where you at now. I'm excited to hear about the book, and man, let's go. So give the people a little background about the story, sharing your story, your upbringing and pre-prison.
Okay, well, you're talking as far as the book?
Yeah, we can get into the book however you want to do.
Okay, my book reflects, but first, let me get my own plug. My book, this is my new book that just came out. It's called The Alchemism of Quenten. This is my autobiography. It's telling you the story of my tribes and
that's dope. That's dope right there.
Relations and everything else. You know, this is it's a labor of love. You know, and I'm so proud when I look at it. You know, when it came out. And the book is talking about my life as growing up as a young military brat, on my road to discovery, living life and experiencing different things as I moved around with my family, as I grew older and we left out of the military, my life experience, you know, meeting people, how it developed me as a person, being a middle child, where I got in, you know, what the reason why I was, you know, seeking my parents' approval or validation by acting out, doing things. It's really much just talking about my whole life, leading up to my high school, military, college, coming back out of the military, and once I got caught up with using drugs and that cycle, it took me through drugs, institutions, prison time, the whole cycle, getting out, going back in, you know, not being able to forgive myself. It's a story of forgiveness and redemption. You know, coming from the ashes of destruction, finding myself, finding my purpose, learn to forgive myself and others, most importantly, and knowing that what my value is that not what I did in the past and not who I am, is just what I've done. And, you know, you can become whatever you want to be. You don't have to be put in a box and let the system tell you who you are. You know, what you can do and what you can do whatever you want to. The same way you made the bad decisions, you make good decisions, and the quality of your life is defined by the decisions you make. And that's what you put your mind to it. That's what it is. And this is what this book is all about. It's talking about my life. 27 years prior and then 27 years after, you know.
So you said you grew up a military brat. Can you tell us more about what that was like, you know what I'm saying, being the middle child in a close-knit family that, you know, you move constantly?
Oh, growing up in the military family, being the middle child, and I'm pretty sure those who are middle children can probably relate to what I'm saying. It's like you trying to fit in. You know, you have your own personality, but at the same time, you're looking at your older brother. He's the oldest, so he's going to get the attention because he's the oldest. He has to set the standard for us. And then you have my younger brother who's the baby. So in the middle, I grew up being a mischievous little kid. You know, I was always with my friends. We were always into something. We just, from a young age, I like to do things that, you know, were exciting. I guess people would call it living on the edge, you know, doing things that you know you ain't had no business doing, but just seeing if you can get away with it. So that was the type of person I was. But I was always a loving individual. I'm a good friend with people. I was easy to meet, get along, and I was very athletic. So I was always in the sports, meeting different people. Yeah, pretty much that's that into how I was growing up is, you know, and then moving around all the time. You know, I had to learn how to meet friends just like that because we go constantly on the move. You never knew how long you're going to be in one spot before you had to move to the next spot, you know, from state to state. That's just how the military life was. And then growing up, if I might add, is that, you know, in the military life, you know, I had friends from all different walks of life, Spanish, Asian, Jamaican, Mexican, Italian, you name it, Filipinos. With military life is just you're like a melting pot of different ethnic groups, nationalities, all in one. And everybody was the same because you were military.
Right. And I seen in the bio that you sent over, you was talking about, you know, you had the gift of gab. How did your gift of gab and charisma evolve during those formative years?
Oh man, I knew it from a young age that, you know, I was able to track people. I was like the leader of the pack. You're always into something. But I don't know. I guess I got it from my father or my grandfather. I don't know, because if you read in the book, my grandfather, his family from Louisiana. He was known in Chicago. That's where my parents are from Chicago, as being a pimp. So he was always good with words. You know, he was a ladies' man. So I think that was passed down to me, and I had to get the gab, and it was just inherited. So I just had the knack. You know, always told me as a little kid, they say, you know, Quenten, you have a way about you. You have a way of being able to attract people to you. You have a way with words, you know. So, but you have a gift, but you got to know how to use that gift. And I can remember my teachers all through my life in the military, they would always say the same thing. And then people outside, you know, you have a gift, but you got to know what your purpose and how to use it. And I always use it the wrong way, you know.
Right.
You know, manipulating people, getting what I want, whether it was women or friends, you know. I knew I had it, and like I said, I just didn't use it in the right way.
Using it in the wrong way.
Right, that's correct.
I also see you wanted to be an actor. You know, was there a specific moment that sparked your passion for acting?
I'm glad you asked me that, because I mean, when I was a young kid, we used to go to the movies, and I would stare. I would, like, you know, look at the screen, and I would look around whether or not it was an action movie or was a romantic movie or was a scary movie or was a drama, to where, you know, the power of the people on the screen to invoke so many different emotions from people, whether they was crying or they were feared or they were just, you know, how they was able to capture their attention. And I thought, and I found that very alluring. It's like that was something I really wanted to do, because I seen the power in that to move people to so many different emotions. And I couldn't sing that good, so I wasn't gonna be a singer. I thought I wanted to be a singer, but, you know, I sing all right, but not too good. But
you got no Barry White, huh?
I don't be Barry White, anything like that. But yeah, so that's really what I wanted to do. You know, I like that in people, to be able to make people feel, to make people think, and connect with people on a humanistic level. You know, so yeah.
Do you think that dream influenced your choices throughout your life, even during your college and military years?
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did. I always had in the back of my mind that, you know, one day I'm gonna become an actor. I always said to myself, I'm gonna become an actor one of these days. I don't know when, but until I figure out what it is that I want to do with my life, the thought was always there. But how it influenced me, I knew that when I had that power, you know, the gift of gab, I could, you know, pretty much get what I wanted just by talking.
Just by talking. Even if you had to act, You know,
Yeah,
you had an active part.
actually, something's funny that you say that because that's what you're doing. You are actually putting on a role. You become, like I used to say, you become a chameleon. You, whoever group you around, you would become. You mold yourself to those type of people, and you would figure, and you would study them, and you understand and know what it made them move, what they were their interests, what they liked, and you became that.
Right.
And that attracted them to you, whether it was women or for guys, whoever it was. You know what I mean? So I always had the knack of that, to study people. You know what I mean?
And then you talked about, also in kind of in your bio about, being like people pleasing in no sense of directions. Can you unpack how they coexisted within and how you eventually grapple with both to find your purpose?
Okay, so when I wrote in the book about being a people pleaser, when you seek validation and approval from others, when you don't have a sense of self-confidence in who you are, you let people outside of you determine by their reaction to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And by you pleasing them and you make them happy, then they're going to, tell you everything you want to hear. They reinforce it's almost like giving you a positive reinforcement within yourself because you lack that. And I think that's what it was with me. I lacked that sense of self. And to give you a idea, my brother Jerome, he became successful. He was successful, military. He followed me in the military, but he had a sense of self. He didn't care how people perceived him, things, but I did because I don't know. I can't say I don't know. I do know is because I needed that. I needed that self-approval, that approval from other people. Maybe just I feel like I wasn't getting it from my mother and my father as much. So I sought things outside of myself to uplift myself, to give myself importance, instead of finding on my own.
And there was one deep thing that you said was, I lost myself to find myself. Right? That's a powerful statement. Can you elaborate what it meant to lose yourself and what steps you took on your journey of self-discovery?
Okay. When I say I made that statement, I lost myself to find myself. When I say I lost myself, because I became something that I didn't even know who I was. Being around people who I looked at that had something that I thought I wanted.
Okay.
Not was drugs and materialistic things to try to define or what's the word I'm looking for? Self-validate myself. You know what I mean? I think that's what it was.
Okay, for validation.
Yeah, for that I was seeking validation. And I lost myself because I knew this wasn't the life that I wanted to get into. And when you lose yourself, when I say I lost myself, is that I forgot who Quenten was, what Quenten stood for, and what he really wanted to be, who he was. I became somebody else through my actions that I didn't even know. Not to say anybody else, but I didn't know who I was. So when I lost myself, that led me to go down a path of self-destruction with mood-altering substances, committing crimes, the cycle of going back in and out the prison system 3 times before I just got tired and I just gave up. I was like, hey, I'm not going to destroy myself. I didn't want to kill myself, although I did try once. And that's talked about in the book. When I got this, my last time when I knew I was going back to prison, I just couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to check out. And that was a coward's way I look at it. I talk about, because I made all the decisions. But when you lose yourself, I said, and not to talk around it, to get back to the point, I just lost my whole self of character. You know what I mean? Identity. So
let's talk about some of the turning points. Were there specific moments, individuals, or experiences that served as turning points in your journey toward responding to your purpose?
I think, yeah. When I first got incarcerated, I met a lot of good people in the system. I was still trying to find, but once the fog of the mood altering substance wore off, and I was able, the last time, I was able to figure out that this is not. It was one of two things I knew was either I'm going to die in the system, or I'll have to change. So when I made the decision that I was going to change my whole mental makeup, everything, my choices, the people I hung around with, and stand for something, I said, well, I got to stop doing things with strings attached. So I became a GD tutor, as well as going to, doing vocational training and stuff for myself, but to give without any strings attached to people. And I met this teacher while I was incarcerated, and he accepted me for me. He didn't judge me for the bad choices I made, or because you find a sense of guilt and shame when you didn't want to tell anybody, hey man, I got locked up because I got caught up on drugs and I started doing crime, and this is not the way I was brought up, but this is what happened to me. So a lot of times, even now, as I talk about these things, the feeling, even though it comes over me like, wow, because you like stepping out of yourself and you're looking like, man, I can't believe I actually went down this road, but it was, I went down there and I made these decisions, and I started making decisions that's going to change my life. And the best thing is that when I started working as a education tutor, seeing how I was helping people and how they were bettering themselves, I said, it gave me a good sense of purpose, a sense of fulfillment. I think that's what I'll say. To let me know that, look, it's not all about me, but I could use, my gift to help other people, which started, and then one thing, and I got into spirituality. And that's why I want to lead into this. So as I was incarcerated, I think this was a turning point. When I joined this, well, actually I had to fill out a form. I had to do an essay to get into this theological college that was giving out free scholarships. They came to a program that was being run at the institution I was at, USP Atlanta, and it was the actual chancellor of the college, theological college. They were going to give, I think, 20 people inside. They would free scholarships to go to the theological college and study. You get their associate's degree, and this would led. And I'm saying this to say this, that this is what led me down that line when I started getting into my spirituality, studying and developing a relationship with my higher power, and learning to, and that's what led me to, to deal with a lot of issues that I hadn't reconciled in my life, self hate, guilt, shame, all these things, resentment, was allowed me to put these things down, and forgive myself, and to stay and see that there was something inside of Quenten that was of worth and of value, that he could go out and change the conditions of his life just by changing the choices he made. And that's really was a turning point when I got into that.
Okay.
Things. There was so many things that I could talk about, but yeah, that was the major. I think that was the major turning point.
And so what has been transpiring with Quenten between the last time that you was on the reentry journey up until now?
Well, when I first came on your show back almost 2 years ago, I had just gotten out of the system. I was just getting reacquainted with being, out society. I was really starting my journey in reentry. I had a good family net that could help me out, as far as food, clothing, and shelter. But it was just like getting reacquainted with being in the outside world because everything was going so fast. I don't even think I had my driver's license yet. So I've got my driver's license. I don't even think I was working. But now I'm an HVAC technician. I have a good paying job. I'm going to college now. I'm back to school. I'm studying. to get my social science degree, but I'm also right now I'm studying. It's like a dual program. I'm studying to get my substance abuse rehabilitation license certification, so I can get into that. Along with I have a beautiful relationship with a beautiful woman. It was a healthy, non-toxic relationship. That's definitely. Oh, and I got my passport. I went and got a passport. I've been doing a lot of things, you know, man, as well as still being a mentor in the programs, as far as the Free Minds program that I was a poet ambassador with when I was incarcerated. I'm still working with them. I'm working with the P2P program, which is from prisons, the PhD program. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of things.
And with the programs that you just talked about, what does working still being involved with them programs? What does it do for you?
Oh, it keeps everything in front of me to see that, you know, that there's other people that's still going through what I was going through, and to see them, to help them. There were there in my life to help me at the same time. And what I do is that let them know, when I connect with them and let them know that, hey, we're more the same than we are different. And I understand what you're going through. I understand the fear. You know, when you're coming back out, most people say they don't have a fear. It can be scary. You know, you've been locked up for so many years, and where people, you know, everything has been given to you. But now you have to be back out in the world. You have to be responsible, accountable for yourself. You know, you got to get employment. You got to get transportation, health insurance, dental insurance. You got to do all these things. You know what I mean? It's going to come at you. And I see how some people, you know, can revert back to that mentality because they can't handle everything that's coming at them so fast, the responsibility. So I'm there to help them, you know, through and let them know that they don't have to feel bad because, you know, this is one point I know I was going to get to. It's like, until you can talk about to people, give it out there and reconcile the things, the dark secrets and the bones that's in your closet, and free yourself from that, because the shame, the things that you don't talk about that may have taken you to prison or whatever. If you don't talk about these things and relinquish this from your heart, then you're still a prisoner, and it limits your ability to be able to go out, you know, and become the person that you were always meant to be. But when you free yourself, that's liberty. I feel liberated. When I wrote this book, it was a sense of liberation, because now I put it out there, and I don't have the things that I said I would never talk about that I would take to the grave. People can go out there and they can say what they want, because what I did is not who I am. It doesn't, you know, it's what I did. But this is my struggle. This is my trials and tribulation. This is what, as the title says, the alchemism of quitting. These are the things in my life that I had to overcome. These are the things that shape and mold me, the way my perception, my warped perception in the past and my perceptions now. I can look at it and say, okay, yeah, I did everything it took to get where I was at, right? But now I'm doing everything to take, because I have this planted the seed through my actions of, I have a vision of where I want to go. And I said, so what's to keep me from getting to where I want, that vision I want, other than me, other than how I think, what I say, and what I do, the choices I make. That's the only thing that separates me. And I used to see people and read, I love to read biographies of successful people. And what did they do? What was the common denominator? They had a dream, they had discipline, right? They was committed, they were responsible and accountable for themselves, and they didn't do anything that was outside of that mission.
Exactly.
They surrounded themselves with positive people who are already there where they want to be.
So in the process of, you know, writing a book and you're going through these ranges of emotions, what is one thing that stuck out to you?
I had to stay, what I did, I had to stay focused on my goal. And whatever emotions came from that, I embraced them. And understand that whatever the emotions, the feelings, they were just temporary. They wouldn't last forever. But it just brought me back to let me know that this is the life, the journey that I took, and and this was the range of emotions that I was going to have to deal with in order to achieve my objective, and that's completion of this book. Because it was times that I went through certain parts of the book that I had to walk away from it for days at a time because it hurt so much, and I had to, deal with that, and then come back and continue writing again. But I was able to make it, whether through that, especially when I get to the parts where I got caught up in drugs and incarceration. I think that was the hardest part to write about the book.
And when you say that part, the drugs and incarceration, why was that part the hardest part?
I saw the hurt and the pain that I was doing to myself and to my family by the choices I made, and to see the cycle of what I was going through and all the destruction that it created in my life and the life of others, my friends, my family, my relationship with my fiance at that time, how it destroyed things, how it changed me, and that's the part that I found the hardest, because I think about the years that I lost, through being incarcerated. I thought about my loved ones that were close to me that I lost, that were gone when I came back out, and I kept blaming myself, for this, and it was like not forgiving myself all that time.
And so with writing the book, in the process of writing that book and getting through that point, was that somewhat of part of the forgiving yourself?
Writing that book it allowed me to find the things that I was harboring, the resentments, the pains, the hurt that I thought that I had reconciled, that I had forgiven myself for and forgiven other people for, but I didn't, that were subconsciously, pushing me to do certain things, whether or not it was self-destructive or whatever it was, maybe. But yeah, by me doing that, writing that book, it was really allowing me to tap into these things that I thought that I didn't even know that were really pushing me to do certain things. And I was able to reconcile a lot of issues to free myself from those shackles, and allow me to set myself free and move on in life.
And what was the most important lesson to you in this whole writing process of the book? What was the most important lesson that you found out of it?
Mm-hmm. That you can overcome any downfall, bad choice that you made in life, that you can overcome your situation. You can change the conditions, the environments of your life just by the way you think and the choices you make. And it made me understand that emotions and feelings are temporary, but if you don't make an informed decision, on your actions, then you no longer have in control of what's going to happen to you. And then if you don't, you have to really always remember the quality of your life is defined by the choices you make. So make a intelligent, rational, decision. Don't make an impulsive decision. That's what I got out of writing this book, is that I created the life I was living, and I can create a better life just by the choices I make. That's why and not only that, but I think forgiveness, redemption, forgiveness. That's what I learned from writing this book.
And when you say forgiveness, is it more towards forgiving yourself?
Oh, true. Yeah. A lot of times we hell bent on destroying ourselves because we never learned to forgive ourselves. We could say that we love ourselves, but how could you love yourself and continue to do the things you were doing? And that was destroying your life, that was taking years from your life. So that's almost like they say, what is that? Insanity is doing the same thing, is expecting a different result. So I always ask myself, if you love yourself enough, then you become your best friend, not your worst enemy. And if you show love I always say love is an action verb. It's a verb. It shows through your ways and actions. And it's not just by just what you say, it's by what you do. You know what I mean? That's when you show that you love yourself, because you're going to do everything it's going to take in order for you to better the conditions of your life. So you can live a life of love, peace, and happiness. That's what I'm looking for. You know, I think that's what everybody looks for. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants peace, and everybody wants happiness. But you can't find it outside yourself. You find those things within yourself, and then you express that through your actions to other people. You give that back. And then you give it back without any strings attached. But once you love yourself and you don't need anyone outside of you, you know, to validate that self-love, that self-respect, you know what I mean? That self-worth, because you know who you are. You know who your value is. You don't need no one else to tell you that. You know, and that's where you find peace and security within yourself.
And what was the biggest thing that you learned about yourself in this process of writing your book?
Trust myself. Trust in the decisions I can make, that I can make informed, intelligent decisions. That I don't have to rely on other people. I'm intelligent. I'm an intelligent individual. I always was. Don't dumb myself down, you know, just to fit in with other people. Be who I am. Don't, you know what I mean? That's it. Whether or not a person accepts you or not, you know, be your authentic self. Don't be something that you're not. You know what I mean? Love who you are. Embrace who you are. That's why I learned, you know, that everybody's a unique individual. But once you learn and love yourself and love everything about yourself, irregardless of what another person may think about you, how they feel, what they say, that's liberation. That's freedom. Because you're living your life, and you will attract those individuals through your energy, because they're going to feel that. They're going to see the authenticity and sincerity about you. And that's like, and you don't have, anytime you have to put on an act, you got to project an image, you got to protect the image. But if you just who you are, you don't have to try. It just comes naturally. And that's what I found about myself, that, you know, I am who I am, and I can be whatever. I can achieve many things on my own ability. I don't have to rely on somebody else, and I don't have to look for no one to validate me as an individual. I validate myself.
Okay. And what would be one of the things, I know it's many things inside the book, but what would be one of the things that the readers would be able to take away from the book and your story?
Let me think about that. What I hope they will take away from this is that the journey in life, you're going to come across many people, you're going to experience many things, but always know that there's another day. Learn to forgive yourself, love yourself, know who you are and where you come from. Family is everything. That's your roots. When you lose a sense of who you are and where you come from, you're gonna go anywhere. You're gonna be like a leaf in the wind. But I hope that they gain from this is that you can overcome, you know, your setbacks. You know, if you just believe, trust the process, and have faith, you know what I mean, that you can overcome these things and you can do whatever you want to do. I'm living proof. I can't, pretty much say anymore. I hope when they read the book, they see where I've come from, the choices I made, where I went wrong, and how I got back on track. It's a choice. Everything is a choice in life. Make the right decision, and you can get back to, get on the right road to being who you always meant to be.
And so, looking back, over the last couple of years, you got out, you've been grinding hard, You've been putting a lot of work in and reflecting on your story during writing this book. What would be one thing after going over, because I wrote a book, especially when it's a book about your life and your biography, and you digging deep into areas of your life, you do a lot of reflecting. And during that reflecting, what would be some of the things that you would tell your older self? I mean, not your older self, but your old self or your younger self, if you can go back.
Oh. I wrote a piece on that too. I don't think I put it in the book, but I wrote a letter to my younger self. And what I would tell them is that listen to those, I feel that the Creator sends people in your life to speak truth to you at different parts of your life. And there's going to be people that's going to tell you things about yourself, and you should listen to them, know that you're going to go through hardship. You're going to go through pain, but there's always another day. Never give up on yourself. Don't look for something outside of yourself to bring you joy, to bring you happiness, because happiness comes from within. And understand that if you fall, get back up, forgive yourself and keep moving. Don't sit back and wallow on pity pot. Keep moving. There's going to be people. And when you gravitate to those who can help you, be around positive people. You can't hang around nobody who's not doing anything. Be around those who are doing things. You know what I mean? And make an intelligent, thought out decision. Don't be impulsive. Think things through.
All right. And so I always ask this question, but I'm not going to ask it what one word to describe your journey totality as a whole, because you already gave me that one word. Mm-hmm. But I know in this last 2 years since our last interview, with everything coming together and you putting a lot of work in, what would be one word to describe the journey that you've been on in these last 2 years?
Let me think about that. What would I say? It has been amazing. I think I would use that word, amazing. Uplifting. Yeah. It's definitely been amazing and uplifting. If I had to use one word, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, one word. You gave me two. We only need one.
That's what it's one word to describe my journey. One word to describe. It's so many. What word would I use to describe my journey? That's a hard one there. That's a hard one because I have so many words. I would have to just say enlightening. That's the word.
And why enlightening?
I found so many things about myself that I never knew on this journey. So it has enlightened me to a lot of things, to different layers of Quenten, different complexions. Yeah.
And so where can the people get the book? Let us know, how can we order the book, where to find the book, where to find you. We might want to book you and get some books. How can we go about doing that?
Well, you can find the books on my books right now. This book here, Alchemism Quenten, is on 3 major platforms right now. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. You can get it at Amazon Books. You can get it at Rakuten, Kobo. You can also get it on Lulu. That's 4. Actually, it's 5. And you can get it on Google Books. But if you can also go to my sites on Facebook and Instagram. It's just all my book sites that's promoting this book. It's at Quenten Sims Official on Facebook and the same Quenten Sims Official on Instagram. And my website that's going to be up by the time you see this is going to be at www.quentensims.com. www.quentensims.com. That's gonna be my website. It's gonna tell you about my book. I'm gonna have a bio on me, about me writing the book and everything of that nature. So those are things that's where you can find my book at right now.
And my final question is, what would be, and I think I might have asked this, but I got to ask it again just in case.
Mm-hmm.
What would be one takeaway that I would get from the book?
One takeaway that you would get from reading this book is that anything is possible. Anything is possible. That's it. And it's in my back right here. It gives you the bio and everything. It's a labor of love. Go out there and get it. I guarantee you, you'll see yourself in this. You'll identify and let you know you can always overcome. Just believe in self. Keep God faith first. Family. You can do it. I'm living proof.
The re-entry journey. What would be one word to describe this journey?
Heartache.
Enriching.
Gratitude.
Unapologeticness. Hope.
Elevating. Passion.
Resilience.
I say transformation.
Determination.
Intention.
My word is compassion. Rebirth.
Intentional.
It's bigger than just walking down your probation and parole. It's changing your mindset, lifestyle, and never returning to prison again. It's the re-entry journey with Cardell Sims.
Yeah, I'm Cardell Sims, re-entry consultant, motivational speaker, author, founder, owner of On the Inside Re-Entry Academy.
I've been to prison 5 times, county jails 4 times. Tell you the type of lifestyle I live. Grew up in a poverty neighborhood. My mom was on crack. Father wasn't nowhere around.
Yeah, right now we're in Chicago, Illinois at Cook County Division 11, speaking to the participants at the Cook County Jail. We got entrepreneurship workshop, we got vision board, we got goal setting, we got parenthood, all led by formerly incarcerated individuals. It's about 8 or 9 of us here on today, so we're here to make impact and also to be able to inspire the men upon their release, they can be successful as well.
This is actually for my vision when I got out of prison, to come back and give people the game, like how to be successful. And it's really all about having a vision. That's what I do in the workshop. Talk about having a vision for yourself, creating vision boards, how to set the goals to accomplish the vision.
First time you get incarcerated, you should be preparing for your release. What's the vision I got for my family? What's the vision I got to be a career?
All the times I was running in and out of prison, I ain't have a vision for myself. The only vision I seen was me going back to the block, hustling, selling crack, and I'm right back locked up. So the only time I came out of prison with a vision and prepared with an actual plan, I ain't never been back. The participants came